together, Father God, of our lifelong journeys, guiding spirit of our thirst for knowledge and truth, we bow before you in thanksgiving for the bountiful blessings of wisdom that have led us to this time and place in our lives. We are mindful of friends and relatives, fellow students and family, both living and dead, who have assisted our growth and maturity, and pray that their legacy of love and inspiration, which assures us of your continuing presence among us, will loom our visions far beyond the walls of this campus. Prevent us, O God of freedom, from becoming mere slaves of convention and commonality. Encourage us to strive in transforming whatever setting we find ourselves into fully human communities, affirming all who enter. Empower us to face our uncertain futures with an unquenchable quest to discover our true selves and our God-given potentials, so that our potentials may empower a new consciousness and realm of compassion for others in service to you, through you. Amen.
Please be seated. We mark today the 154th commencement of Wesleyan University. On behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome to this celebration the class of 1986, other degree recipients, families and friends, distinguished guests, and other members of this academic community. This is a joyous occasion held in a glorious setting on a marvelous, if somewhat warm, spring day. All in all, the perfect ingredients for a special celebration. In opening these ceremonies, I want to direct a few remarks, as is my habit, specifically to the graduating class. The rest of you can eavesdrop if you'd like, or tune out if you'd prefer. One of this college's noblest traditions and most remarkable characteristics is that over the years, its graduates have contributed to society out of all proportion to their numbers. This is a phenomenon that I hope this class will maintain. What it means, in short, is that Wesleyan produces a disproportionate number of leaders. It selects freshmen of unusual promise. Your class was no different. It prods, nourishes, awakens, extends, stimulates, and elevates them, and sends them out from Middletown with an exceptional capacity for leadership. You can look at your possibilities for providing leadership as an obligation. The privileged in Western societies, and you certainly are a privileged group, have always been expected to contribute more, to give something back. Or you can look at your possibilities for leadership as an opportunity, a way of taking advantage of the special learning experience you have enjoyed. Liberal learning in an institution of this quality produces an elite. You should not, indeed you cannot, run from this reality. You may not like the word, but it is an accurate description. The real question is not whether you are an elite group, rather it is what you will do in life and in society with the privileges that eliteness confers. So in congratulating you, I also want to challenge you. James McGregor Burns, a distinguished historian at Williams College, is one of this country's most thoughtful students of leadership. Professor Burns has a construct of leadership that divides leaders into those whose roles and styles are essentially transactional, and those whose patterns and effects are largely transformational. Clearly, Burns sees transformational leaders as being of a higher order, a breed apart, and so do I. They change institutions, they change society, They are never satisfied. They have boundless curiosity and endless energy. They are driven by visions. They are pathfinders. They have iron wills. They are determined to touch and alter the lives of others. This is Wesleyan's tradition. This is your challenge. I hope and trust that many of you are incipient transformational leaders. We expect no less. We could want no more. Step up to your leadership roles, whether you see them as opportunities or as obligations. Lead on and make a difference. The Board of Trustees wishes you Godspeed and good luck. Thank you.
Mr. President, members and friends of the Wesleyan community. Several years ago, the late John Spady, Robert Rich Professor of Latin, Dean of the Faculty, and University Archivist, wrote a brief account of Wesleyan's degree of Master of Arts, Arte Undum Gradum, and I should like to share that account with you. Wesleyan University, he wrote, has awarded the honorary degree of Master of Arts, Arte Undum Gradum, since June 1894, and the practice has continued ever since. The degree is awarded regularly and solely to those members of the faculty who, 1, are not graduates of Wesleyan at the bachelor's level, and 2, have attained to or been appointed at the rank of full professor on our faculty. The first recipient of this Wesleyan degree was the then President, Bradford P. Raymond, a BA graduate of Lawrence College. By the award of this degree, all full professors on the Wesleyan faculty are made alumni of the university, qualified to participate in alumni affairs if they so choose, including the right to vote for alumni members of the Board of Trustees. And in his usual thorough way, Dean Spaeth noted, there is, of course, no fee for this degree. I would add, Mr. President, that recipients of this degree will be welcomed as participants in the annual alumni giving drive. Therefore, Mr. President, in accord with this happy tradition, I have the distinct honor to present certain duly qualified persons to receive at your hands the degree of Master of Arts, Arte Undum Gradum.
It is a special pleasure for me to present the degrees of Master of Arts, Arte Undum Gradum, to members of the faculty who have recently become full professors. Their work here and elsewhere more than justifies this recognition from Wesleyan. It's an honor to confer the degrees and a privilege to congratulate my colleagues for their accomplishments. In keeping with this fine Wesleyan tradition, by the authority of the university vested in me, I am pleased and proud to grant you in person the degree of Master of Arts, Arte Undum Gradum, and in doing so to express on behalf of Wesleyan our gratitude and respect for your distinguished contributions as teachers, scholars, and colleagues.
George Arthur Peterson. Cobelia Hubert Kahn. Peter Allen Jacoby. John James Donady. Gary Wynn Yo.
Mr. President, it's my honor to present the Baldwin Medal to Joseph Melnick, class of 1936. Joseph Melnick, class of 1936, you are a living proof that science is truly a liberal art when liberally pursued. From your days as a brilliant undergraduate to your present status as Dean of Graduate Sciences and Chairman of the Department of Epidemiology and Virology at Baylor College of Medicine, you have shown an unflagging zest for discovery. Yours is a constant search for connections and linkages. But you are no laboratory mole. You respond like an old fire horse to the alarm bell of a viral epidemic anywhere in the world. A warm and friendly man with a rich appreciation of art and a skilled hand with a camera, you carry international renown lightly. For your contributions to medical knowledge, for the lives you have saved, and not least for your generosity of spirit, I have the honor to present you, on behalf of your alma mater, the Raymond E. Baldwin Medal for Distinguished Service. Congratulations.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you Carlo De Benedetti to receive at your hands the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Carlo De Benedetti, innovator, entrepreneur, linguist, and patron of the arts, yours is a generous vision, as bold as it is broad. You're an internationalist, and by grasping the nettle of a global economy in turmoil, you have stimulated fresh thinking, not only in your own country, but throughout Europe, and in this country as well. In the dynamics of information technology, you have found the means to breathe new life into industry grown stale on old assumptions. Your achievements are made possible not just by the range of your intellect or the force of your drive, but by the trust you inspire in those you challenge as well as in those you lead. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you into the Wesleyan family, where your son has preceded you, and to confer upon you this university's honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present David Hayes to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Master of Arts, Doctor of Arts.
David Hayes, as stage designer, you create brilliant settings that induce the willing suspension of disbelief, without which there is no theater. Whether in ballet, in musical, or in drama, your sets are never mere backdrop, but organic to the action. As founder and director of the National Theater of the Deaf, you have also braved the unknown. You have shown sometimes skeptical audiences throughout the world that gifted players, ably led, transcend physical limitations to convey the magic of theater through expression, gesture, and above all, movement. Sign language, largely thanks to you, is no longer a curiosity, but a commonplace. For the aesthetic pleasure you have given us, and for the humane understanding you exemplify, I take great pleasure in conferring upon you Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Arts.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Nannerl Cohan to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Nannerl Cohan, you give brilliant leadership to a venerable college founded on the then astonishing premise that woman was not biologically ordained to be subordinate. Articulate advocate of liberal education, political scientist, writer, editor, wife, and mother, you are an inspiring model of common sense feminism. By your example, you continue to sunder age-old prejudices and lingering assumptions about the role of women. For your imaginative vision of education and the learning you bring to ready minds, male as well as female, Wesleyan, sometimes confused with a women's college near Boston, claims you as kin, and it is my pleasure to award you this university's honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Jehan Sadat to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Jehan Sadat, in you, two venerable and radically different cultures meet and blend. You call on the wisdom of ancient civilizations in your ceaseless efforts to dispel ignorance. While little more than a girl, you had the courage to wed an obscure soldier who dreamed of independence for his country. And your deep faith sustains you years later, when after his historic effort to bring peace to the Middle East, he was brutally slain. You have refused to let tragedy slow your campaign to help women shape old traditions to new realities. Student and teacher of Arabic literature, you constantly learn and constantly share that learning. You display a grace and a dignity that lends force to those causes you have made your personal mission. Peace, the eradication of poverty, and full participation by women of all societies in the life of their times. For your courage and commitment, and for the beacon you represent to third world women in their struggle against time-worn barriers, Wesleyan University salutes you and confers upon you its honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege to present to you Jehan Sadat.
President Campbell, learned faculty, devoted parents, loving friends, dear, dear students. Thank you very much, Dr. Campbell, for your kind introduction. I'm not sure that I'm deserving of those words, but I appreciate them nevertheless. I'm especially honored and pleased to be here with you today on this joyous and symbolic occasion. I'm extremely grateful to you, Dr. Campbell, and to the university for inviting me to participate with you in this important milestone in each of your lives. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to share with you some of my impressions about my experience at the university. For each of you, this day and this ceremony will have different meanings. For all of you, it marks the successful accomplishment of an important and worthwhile goal. This is the day you have been waiting for, the day that 4 years ago you thought would never come, and now seems to have come so quickly that you find yourself asking, is it really here? Am I really graduating? The answer is yes. Yes, you are. And with this ritual, which for centuries has been called commencement exercise, we, your families, your friends, the faculty and staff of Wesleyan University celebrate with you this wonderful event. Commencement is an occasion that speaks both of continuity and change. It draws together the rich heritage of the past and the brave dreams of the future. It is an ending and a beginning. It is a brief, triumphant moment filled with joy and with sadness, when we see more clearly than at any other time the real purpose of our being. For some of you, it may mark the end of midterm exams, term papers, the search for that elusive item of proof in the library, anxiety attacks over report cards, cold coffee at 5 a.m. study sessions. I remember the latter particularly well for my own days at Cairo University, when I arose at that ungodly hour to squeeze in my own study for a few hours before occupying myself with the duties of the wife of the president. In fact, those years of study have accustomed me to waking up at 5 a.m. every day, a habit I'm finding extremely difficult to break. For your parents, I'm sure today symbolizes the fulfillment of their dream for you. And as a parent, I can share in the pride and love that fills all of us here today. As a parent, I can also hear that muffled sigh, thank God he made it, along with the greater sigh of ecstasy at finally getting out from under the weight of those tuition checks. Luckily for me, I didn't experience the latter, a matter of great pride for us in Egypt. Education is free through the university level. For all of us today, represents the beginning of something new, whether it is the anticipation of the first important job, a career change, or a new place of study. I'm sure it is no accident that this important ceremony of life has appropriately been called commencement. Little did I know on my own graduation day that it was not the final fulfillment of my dream, nor was it the day to stop studying, questioning, and learning. I quickly discovered, as you undoubtedly will too, that it was really just the beginning, the opening of a door to a whole new world of discovery and learning, which never ever closes and which you should always allow to remain open. In our holy book, the Quran, the first teaching of God to Muhammad, in fact, the first word the Archangel Gabriel ever pronounced was to read, in other words, to learn. I believe that all of us who have had the privilege of an education have a responsibility to continue that education. Perhaps not necessarily in the formalized sense of the word, but for and by ourselves. No matter what path you choose to take after today, hopefully you will continue to learn and to grow. For after all, that is what civilized life is all about. Most human behavior is learned, with the exception of a few basic instincts, and we continue to learn throughout our lives. I'm not talking about what some call technical skills, how to do certain things, though these are important. You must provide for an environment which enables the individual to live in dignity, maintain his self-esteem, and be the very best he can be. I speak about an approach to learning which allows you to enrich your own being, both intellectually and perhaps even spiritually. I'm sure that you have heard this before from your parents and from your teachers. It is certainly not new. However, I believe so strongly in the value of learning that it bears repeating and emphasizing. I agree with your former President, John Kennedy, who said, "One man can make a difference." But I would add that it is education that enables the individual to make that difference. It is safe to say that while the ignorant may create those problems, it is the educated who will and must solve them. I do not want to say anything about today's political situation, which might be misconstrued. However, I'm sure that your parents and teachers would agree that the increased complexity of the world and the magnitude of the problems facing its leaders require an even greater commitment of your best efforts as you seek to resolve conflicts and to achieve a workable world peace. Violence and terrorism have become all too commonplace. Hunger and disease continue without abatement. Those of us here today, you and I, have a responsibility which cannot be shirked, avoided, or given to someone else. We must use the education we have received to help solve these problems. That is now my principal goal and the focus of my life. I would like to add one final thought. We in the third world have always been impressed with the richness of American life. We have admired not only your material wealth, but also the vast range of opportunities which exist for you. We admire greatly the underlying principles of fairness and decency which prevail in America. If I may be allowed to say one word, and I do not mean this in a negative sense, I would caution you not to become complacent or blasé about things as they are. You must continue to question and search, to listen and learn, to reason and think. You must understand and not prejudge, empathize and not reject. Then you will take your place as contributing human beings in the greater family of man. You will have made a difference. Thank you very much.
President, I have the honor to present these candidates to receive at your hands the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and all rights, privileges, honors, and distinctions which by custom pertain to this degree. In testimony of your achievement, I am pleased and proud to present your diplomas.
Royal James Hardigan. John Allen Karnacki. Carol Lambert. James Michael Logue. Reuben Elbert Mayo, Jr. Leonard James Paglaro. And Karakuti S. Subramanian. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these persons to receive the Certificate of Advanced Study.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the Certificate of Advanced Study and all rights, privileges, honors, and distinction which by custom pertain to this degree. In testimony of your achievements, I am pleased and proud to present your certificates.
Michael Edward Gannon. Douglas Leslie Henderson. Helena W. Howard. Shirley Anna Johnson. Antonia Lewandowski. Eleanor B. Ubaldini.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present these persons to receive at your hands the degree of Master of Arts.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the degree of Master of Arts and all rights, privileges, honors, and distinctions which by custom pertain to this degree. And in testimony of your achievement, I am pleased and proud to present your diplomas.
Matthew Harp Allen. Paul Austerlitz. Randall Emerson Byer. John Francis Booth. Arnold Henry Cashlan. John Weir Mitchell Clark, Jr. Kevin John Fitzgerald.
Yay, Kev!
Audrey Marion Grabfield. Teresa Jo Hanaka. Karen Eileen Cavisto. Irvin J. Levy. Kwang Ming Lee. Rachel Bernard Ramadiani. Mary E. Spaulding. Jennifer Tom. And Jeffrey Ross Thomas. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates to receive, at your hands, the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies and all rights, privileges, honors, and distinctions which by custom pertain to this degree. In testimony of your achievement, I am pleased and proud to present your diplomas.
Jill Gibbons Amato. David Bruce Baldwin. Sheila Barber. Barbara E. Brewer. Lucille Evans Canfield. Karen Beth Clark. Gertrude Kreitz. Paige Phelps Coulter. Claire M. Daly. Janet Vale Day. Gisberdina Jacoba Dorhe Durad. Susan Marie Dillon. Lisa E. Eldraker. Teresa M. Elia. Margaret Ellen S. Fine. William Henry Foster III. Michael G. Gosselin. Howard Willis Hand. Christine E. Harrington. Carol L. Hayes. Judith Ann Hoffrichter. Eric Jacob Jones. Thorin Bjornsdottir Johnson. Karen Eileen Cavisto. Elaine F. Lafleur. Michael Anthony Mastronardi. Stephen J. McCabe. Elizabeth Wright Miller. Now gone. Leonard James Pagliaro. Michael S. Paolillo. Nilda Regini Perici. Rose Maria Coelho. Vicky Jean Zabo. Lois S. Sandstrom. Riva Perez Schwartz. David Schreiber. William W. Scott. Judy Gail Siegel. Donna Williams Sudan. John Kenneth Thornton. Brett Norden Vianney. William Henry Walling. William Howard Wishart, Jr. William John Wright.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present these persons to receive at your hands the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and all rights, privileges, honors, and distinctions which by custom pertain to this degree. In testimony of your achievement, I am pleased and proud to present your diplomas.
May I ask you please to hold your applause until all the names have been read. Stuart Abramson, Christopher William Augusta, Susan Jean Altman, Colin Gregory Amos, Lincoln William Anderson, Paul Anthony Anello, Philip Allen Anker, Anthony Joseph Antonellis, Penny Z. Apter, Michael Anthony Arcieri, Peter Daniel Ardolino, David Anthony Aronson, Charles Dessaw Atkinson IV, Beverly Ann Augustine, David Samuel Bagatelle, Nada Maria Bahu, Laura Kristen Baker, Martha Ann Baldy, Lynn Cochran Baldridge, Andrea Sue Balkan, Julia Lee Barclay, Ann Elizabeth Barlow, Elizabeth Ann Barron, Andrew James Barangus, Daniel Wade Barrett, Stephen Douglas Barris, Jeremy Matthew Baskin, David Andrew Bauerlein, Michael Benjamin Bay, Coleman David Basila, Ethan James Beardsley, Douglas Adam Beer, Tariq Mansa Musa Ben Salahuddin, Andrew R. Benden, Peter Hans Benson, Daniel Arthur Bergman, Stephen Aaron Berliner, Gail Lorraine Berrigan, Charles Henry Bertu, Christopher Rutledge Betts, Benjamin Pennypacker Binswanger, Lynn Elaine Bishel, Nestor Jules Bittleman, William Temple Blackwood, Yvonne Elizabeth Blake, Kristen Burr Blumel, John Everett Bogosian, Henry Miller Bonner Jr., John Francis Booth, Sarah Elizabeth Bosch, Monica Bose, Michelle Marie Bouillet, John Lorenzo Bray, Marcus W. Brower, Peter Howard Braverman, Gary J. Brenner, Sarah Lynn Bridges, Jacqueline Ann Brilliant, Christopher Arthur Brown, Heather Jean Brown, Stella Susan Booter, Marianne Van Buskirk Bueller, Liza Mary Burdick, Timothy James Burke, Joyce Ann Burnett, Bradford Scott James Cabral, Arnold Henry Cashlin, Stephen Daniel Cadigan, Nancy Michelle Kagan, Dennis Jerome Carboni, Alice Elizabeth Carter, Joseph Patrick Cassidy, Carl Joseph Siva, Wendy Sterling Chase, Sewell Peter Champ, Catherine Minot Channing, Charles Sumner Charman, Christine Elizabeth Charman, Nicole Cherboulier, Deborah Louise Cherry, Christopher Arthur Chester, Anne Dorothy Hung-Ah Ching, Rosa M. Cho, Teresa Cho, Sharon Marie Christie, David Sung Chun, Christopher Scott Churchill, Shira Deborah Sion, James Philip Clark, Dorothy Julia Ethel Clark, Sharon Cecilia Clark, Cheryl Lynn Clay, Karen Mara Clement, Andrew Ari Klibanoff, Lisa Marie Cloud, Gordon James Coburn, Andrew Allen Cohen, Louis Evan Cohen, Marsha Eileen Cohen, Stephen Clifford Cohen, Samuel McKean Connor, Augustine Edward Conroy III, Tracy Ann Contant, Denise Darcell Cooper, Andrew Philip Cortell, Catherine Agnes Coatens, Donna Lee Coupard, Emily Martha Cowan, Peter Hartman Crabtree, Daniel Stephen Crane, Elaine Vonda DeSena, Christopher Russell Diamond, Timothy Laverne Dibble, Lisa Susan Deerbeck, Lisa Renee Dipko, Una Kathleen Doherty, Michael Robert Dolan, Scott Mackenzie Donahue, Jeffrey Austin Gordon, Peter Dumas, Annette Dunklin, John Paul Durant, Peter Jackson Durwood, Patricia Ann Dutton, Timothy Cummins Dyke, Peter Allen Eckhart, Ann Rachel Edelson, Orna Ann Edgar, Melissa Laird Eanes, Karen Cecile Eisner Enriquez, Stephen Lawrence Elbaum, Sarah Starr Elkine, Mark Eric Elovitz, John H. Efron, Amy Lynn Epstein, Cheryl Lynn Epstein, Suzanne Margaret Erickson, Karen Deborah Eskovitz, Robert Abbott Estes Jr., Judith Lynn Phaler, Judith Ann Fay, Joanna Feinberg, Glenn Richard Feidelson, Andrew Mark Spellner, Tara Janine Fentress, Judith Ann Ferber, Charles Maurice Fernandez, Carla Maria Fernandez, Joel John Finnegan, Benjamin Michael Fishman, Alexandra Kinsley Fisher, Jennifer Ashley Flackett, Gary Donnell Flake, Sarah Elizabeth Flanders, Christine Marie Fleming, Benjamin Aguinaldo Fonts, Catherine Boland Forrest, Paisley Carlotta Fortune, Charles Renee Gallen, John Philip Gannon, Stephen Albert Gavios, Allison Knight G., Eileen F. Giel, William Allen Gerber, Catherine Keen Gilhooly, Harold Samuel Ginsberg, Deborah Eileen Gitterman, Nancy Jane Jeffrida, Rebecca Elizabeth Golden, Lori Beth Goldman, Sally Dilks Goldman, Kenneth Robert Goldschneider, Deborah Karen Gould, John Kinsey Gould, Joseph Patrick Grasso, Elizabeth Graver, Ashbel Stockton Green, Paul David Greenberg, Lydia Stanton Green, James Sheldon Hallett, Ethan Allen Hall, Deborah Ruth Halperin, David Mark Hamburger, Peter James Hammond, Eric William Hamry, Daniel Alex Handelman, Belinda Hanson, Jonathan David Harbour, Laura Harrington, Jonathan Lewis Harris, Heather Ann Hathaway, Ezra John Hausman, Joan Alice Heckscher, Harper Keith Helms III, Michelle Marie Heller, William Aaron Heller, Tyke Hendricks, Craig Jan Hetzer, David Anthony Hill, Ernest Joseph Hill, Mark Wesley Hill, Charles Douglas Hinckley, Diana DeBerry Hinton, Michelle Elaine Hirsch, David Bradwick Hitt, Harold Meyer Hoffman, Francis Kent Holland Jr., Jennifer Michelle Holland, Diane Ruth Holt, Jennifer Honey, Arthur Howard Horst, Jeremy Mahoney Howerhand, Eric Savan Howard, Kristen Morrow Hoyt, David Edward Hubblebank, Holly Ann Hubner, Holly Brooks Hughes, Philip Edward Hughes, Grace Christina Hushel, Jonathan Lewis Houston, Benjamin St. John Irvin, Lynn Mary Eisenberg, Takahisa Ishisuka, Amy Ruth Itzkovitz, Dunstan Olson Jackson, Linda Francis Jekyll, Andre Keith Jett, Ana Maria Jimenez, Judith Letitia Viola Johnson, Kenneth Douglas Johnson, James Robert Johnston, Elizabeth Bulkley Jones, John Bryce Jordan, Julia Sumi Jun, Adrian Carlotta Younger, George Louis Justice, Melanie T. Kahn, Joseph Edward Kahn, Keith Stewart Canick, Craig Elliott Cannell, Jordan Elliott Cantor, Allison Mara Kaplan, Bruce Eric Kaplan, David Benjamin Kaplan, Douglas Ayer Cass, Beth Jamie Kaufman, Hiroko Sakura Kawai, Paul Mark Keeney, Robert Sean Keeble, Elizabeth Coburn Keller, Daniel Quentin Kelly Jr., Alyssa Deborah Kellman, Bradley Stephen Kessler, Cornelius Rudd Kierstead, Ginny Kim, Michael Mickey Iki Kim, Donald Kenneth King, Yvonne Stephanie Kingan, Paul Stephen Karinsich, Stanley Chester Keishel, Jr., Ellen Kathleen Kitzmiller, Jeffrey Michael Clapes, Christina Klein, Ethan Conrad Nolden, Richard Adam Kaufman, David Sanford Cohan, Daniel Moss Colbert, Brian Matthews Ostow Corporal, Joan Rachel Corrin, Sharon Allison Cost, Joseph Albert Coster, John Lewis Craikman, Carla Sharon Kramer, Lee Scott Krasner, Stephen J. Krinsman, John Andrew Pune, Carl Eric Cusero, Michelle Lynette Loddy, Eric James Land, Susan Martha Lanham, William Anthony Lanza, Andrew Scott Larner, Lisa Jane Lattis, Donna Sue Lau, Kenneth Lee Lawrence, Andrew Schwazi Layden, Lindsay Julia Layton, Roger Nathan Leibovitz, Randy Lee Levinson, Erica Shield Levy, James Daniel Levy, Jody Nan Lewin, Sharon Lorraine Lewis, Stephanie Ling Chi Liang, Nona Lynn Liang, Catherine Hughes Lilly, Ellen Margareta Lindbergh, John Morgan Leone, Alex Lipman, Jeffrey Howard Liss, Matthew Bertels Lawrenson, Catherine Jane Lotspeech, Christine Helga Lotze, William Kennedy Love, David Rand McDonald, Robin Malcolm McDuffie, Margaret McGaffey, Randall Mark McLowry, Robert Preston McRae, Brian Robert Maitland, Nadav Maleen, Forrest Andrew Maltzman, Ellen Mangano, Gregory Edwards Mann, Carrie Lynn Manning, Louis John Marino Jr., Craig Edward Markrow, Cynthia Ann Martin, Dana Joan Martin, Magda Martinez, Carolyn Francis Masters, Thomas Noel Matlack, James Newell Matthews, Michael Francis Mayer, Wilmer Hunt McCorkadale, Wilson Howell Robert McDermott III, Lynn Susan McDonald, Rosemary Ellen McGonigal, Daniel Dunnock McGuire, Marielena Velez McGuire, John Joseph McIntyre IV, Catherine Ann McIver, Rebecca Susan McLeod, Elizabeth Arla McMillan, Peter Joseph McSherry, Connor Carrick McTee, Susan McWilliams, Nina Mehta, Leslie Carol Meiselman, Joanne Paula Malikian, Jana Francesca Menepace, Jeffrey Scott Mendelson, Tomas Courier Mendez, Dylas Bradford Merrill, Sally Burgess Merritt, Laura Sharon Metch, Stephen Harry Meyer, Jennifer Rose Meyerhart, Melinda Deborah Michael, Ralph Scott Michaud, Helen Day Miller, Isabel Miller, Christine Ann Moctezuma, Rebecca Dorothy Mode, Eileen Mary Mohan, Richard Allen Monastersky, Brian Patrick Moore, Monica Mary Moran, Michael Jefferson Mosdale, Stephen James Mosley, Douglas Andrew Muller, Virginia Mabry Murphy, Andrew Hanauer Myers, Sarah Rachel Nazimova, Jennifer June Neal, Sandra Gregory Petrosky, Soren David Pfeffer, Harold Gardner Phillips III, Noah M. Jedediah Pickus, Nicholas Stewart Piper, Lisa Rebecca Piper, Mary Robin Pivauer, Thomas Arthur Bernard Plotkin, Sarah Rose Pollock, Douglas Robert Q. Juan Ryu, Corinne Eleanor Sadowski, H. Scott Sanborn, Nora Linda Santos, Ralph James Savarese, Suzanne Beatrice Scarola, Gabriel Schaffner, Stephen Todd Shatsky, Peter Eric Schlossman, Bennett Bernard Schneider V, Scott Howard Schneider, Lael Jeremy Schooler, Elizabeth Folsom Sky, Diane Joan Schragi, Christine Marie Schultz, Andrew Gordon Schwartz, Justin Daniel Schwartz, Mark Stewart Schwartz, Sandra Charlene Schwartz, Maria Cynthia Scott, Michael Lawrence Sealander, Lucy Abigail Siam, Andrew Wilson Siebert, Judith Carol Seif, Daniel J. Seltzer, Fidel Fabian Sandra Mingwa, Risa Carol Shames, Gawen Shah, Caroline Yvette Skeeter, Eric Matthew Sklar, John Byron Sledge III, Deborah Ann Slocum, Constance Mary Smith, Lauren Nadine Smith, Judith Esther, Walkowski, Peter Lawrence Wallach, Nicholas Warren Waltner, David Sanders Warren, David Peter Weber, William McCoy Worley, Lee Harrison Wiley, Jeffrey David Wine, Tanya Evelina Wood, Joanne Wool, Edgar Charles Young II, Ronald James Young, Emily Karen Zaslow, Andrew Craig Zeller, Anthony Stephen Zimmerman, Caroline Allison Ziv, Gregory Arthur Zlotnick, Elizabeth Cook Ziga.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present Jeffrey H. Liss, Vice President of the Class of 1986.
Thank you, President Campbell. Well, we did it. Before I begin, I would like to point out that, consistent with Wesleyan's principles, this speech was written with absolutely no interference from either members of the administration or the faculty. Keeping this in mind, though, I would like to share with you some notes I have received in the last few days. From Dick Miller, the faculty marshal. Best of luck with the speech. Under 5 minutes, please. From Nat Green, Vice President of the university. Looking forward to hearing the speech. Please don't be too long. From President Colin Campbell. Jeff, good luck on the speech. P.S. Make it short. From Ron Daniels, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, the final note. Jeff, I have an appointment at 2. So on that note, I will begin. President Campbell, honored guests, esteemed faculty, fellow graduates, proud parents, and caring friends, I stand before you today as a representative product of the Wesleyan experience. I unfortunately cannot tell you what the Wesleyan experience is. Perhaps some professors have an idea, or our parents might think that they know, but no one knows it better than ourselves, the students who have experienced it. The Wesleyan experience begins with the students' first days on campus, and it never ends. I have often both heard and said myself the comment, "That's Wesleyan." The African drummer playing under the tree, that's Wesleyan. The students enjoying a croissant and cappuccino at the cafe, that's Wesleyan. The student who dances to his or her biology class, that's Wesleyan. But if one was to combine all of these examples of what Wesleyan is, they still could not describe the exact sense of the Wesleyan experience. Only through living here, studying here, and having lots of fun here can one know of the true Wesleyan experience. And while the Wesleyan experience might change from year to year and decade to decade, there is still that common feeling between the old and young alumni alike that ties them not only to the geographical Wesleyan, but also to that undescribable Wesleyan experience that they have shared. The experience might have begun when they were all students, but it has been added to and compounded every day of every year since they have left, and I look forward to that part of the experience. In addition, while we can physically leave the geographical Wesleyan, the experience of Wesleyan is with us no matter where we go or what we do with our lives. It is very possible that some of my fellow graduates will get caught up in their post-graduation plans and not think of their Wesleyan experience. This is not so bad, nor is it uncommon, I'm sure. But each time they run into an old Wesleyan friend, or see a Wesleyan sweatshirt on a young student, or read of the latest protest or admissions boom in the New York Times, they will be reminded of the good times that they had while they were at Wesleyan and their own personal Wesleyan experience. As I have said, the Wesleyan experience never ends, and we are about to embark on a completely new portion of ours. But let me reaffirm that wherever life takes us, we will always have that experience in common. The shared Wesleyan experience of the class of 1986 has witnessed a plethora of new construction. We arrived here, good word, huh? Row J's, page 276. We arrived here 4 years ago without a trace of any construction workers on the campus. And we leave it now in the same way, I think. In between, however, we witnessed a new campus center, a new public affairs center, and of course the beautiful addition to Olin Library that you see behind me. With this expansion, however, came sacrifices, among them noise, dirt, and inconvenience. But the one sacrifice that has become evident to a number of my classmates was the loss of a number of trees around our beautiful campus. It is true that the construction was not completely responsible for this loss. Our hurricane helped a lot with that. But because of this, the class of 1986, as its gift to the university, has decided to help fund the planting of more trees around the campus in order to beautify the Wesleyan experience of future classes. Finally, on behalf of the class of 1986, I would like to sincerely thank the faculty and the administration for a wonderful Wesleyan experience. Thank you.
At this final moment of the commencement ceremony, those of us who are staying on are now obliged to let you go, to release you to larger opportunities and greater responsibilities. We will miss you. As fervently as we may deny it, in some ways we are like parents, and we would hold you a little longer if we could. We have watched you grow, not just in knowledge, but in intellectual grasp and in heightened powers of understanding. We have seen you sort out your values and declare your priorities. While from time to time we may not have agreed with your judgments, as from time to time you have disagreed with ours, we have respected your honesty and we have respected your commitment. It's quite fashionable these days to attribute many of the shortcomings of society to our colleges and universities and to those who attend them. Let me cite a recent example. The university is no longer the place for the training of leadership and public service in a free society, says Robert Bellah, an eminent Berkeley sociologist. Mr. Bellah, in a sense, yearns for the 19th century university, not its elitism, of course, but its clear calls to duty and service. In contrast, he sees today's university as the place one goes to fulfill one's private dream of individual success. There's some truth in what he says, but I see a different reality in this institution and in you. At Wesleyan's first commencement, Wilbur Fisk said, "Education should be directed in reference to two objects, the good of the individual and the good of the world." The world has changed much since those words were spoken, and Wesleyan has changed too. But President Fisk's belief holds as true today as it did in 1831. The obligation of serving the public good in all of its manifold forms remains central to the mission of this university. During your Wesleyan years, we've sought to help you think conceptually, to bring perspective to complex questions, to filter fact from assumption in order to get at truth, to analyze problems, to appraise contending options realistically, and to make difficult choices. Perhaps others would not consider this education for leadership and public service. I do. And I don't see any reason to scoff at private dreams of individual success. Knowing you and those who have preceded you, I'm convinced that those dreams include finding ways to help the less fortunate, the oppressed, the victims of tyranny and injustice, of sickness and hunger. Success is not a dirty word unless you define it narrowly and selfishly, and I don't think you will. Like any number of men and women who have graduated before you, many of you will know great success in your chosen careers. Your corner of the world will be better for it. Wesleyan doesn't guarantee you such success, but it has tried to offer you a vision of wholeness and the chance to decide for yourself what constitutes a worthwhile life. As you leave, if I could wish you one gift for each of you, it would be a gift of reasoned judgment. It's a rare gift. None of us has it all of the time. Yet it is at the heart of everything Wesleyan stands for. And reasoned judgment is sorely needed in a world that often looks irrational and seems bent on self-destruction. Reasonableness, the philosopher Brand Blanchard says, is a settled disposition to guide one's belief and conduct by the evidence. It's a bent of the will to order one's thought by the relevant facts, to order one's practice in the light of the values involved, to make reflective judgment the compass of one's relief and decision. This is what Wesleyan is all about. if you have begun to comprehend the powers of the reasonable mind, if you are ready to guide your belief and conduct by the relevant facts, if you trust your values and make reflective judgment your compass, your private dreams will come true, and society will be the beneficiary. It's time to leave. Go with our respect and our affection, remembering in words much like Jeff Liss's, that Wesleyan is now forever part of you, and you are forever part of Wesleyan. As the late Adlai Stevenson once said on a similar occasion, and now in the serenity and the quiet of this lovely place, touch the depths of truth, feel the hem of heaven. You will go away with old, good friends. And don't forget when you leave why you came. God bless you.